Hey everybody, Tricia Brouk here, founder of the Big Talk Academy, award-winning director and author. I am so excited for this next series of the Big Talk on my YouTube channel. We have 17 speakers who spoke at the Big Talk Academy's virtual showcase, and each one of them is unique. Each one of them is incredible. They all bring a very special idea to the table, and they all deliver in a very powerful and unique way. I am super excited for you to be introduced to each speaker from the Big Talk Academy's January 7th virtual showcase. Enjoy. Gayle Damiano uses her gifts as a high-performance coach, energy healer, and intuitive, supporting her clients with keen insight and wisdom to assist in accessing their highest potential in both their personal and professional lives. Let's welcome Gayle Damiano, The Power of Listening, discovering your own healing power by tuning into your voice.
I think you have a drinking problem. I heard these words for almost 2 decades inside my own head. And then there was a day about 5 years ago where I was stunned to hear them coming from somewhere else. The feeling of these words hitting me made me stand up straighter and notice myself as I stared back into the eyes of my husband, who stood in the doorway, gently staring back at me with genuine concern in his eyes. And I knew right then that something really had to change. When I moved to New York in 2012, I brought with me a solid 15-year heavy drinking habit. And when I landed a job as a high-performing sales executive in New York City and was told that it was to my benefit if I entertained clients by taking them out for drinks, I thought, I am golden. For me, it turned into an almost everyday affair. And frankly, when I couldn't find a client to take out for drinks, I took myself to the bar. I called them working lunches, which they were, but they always included at least 2 glasses of wine. I thought I had my drinking under control, but who was I kidding? You could smell me coming down the hallway at the office after these working lunches. Not to mention the patterns in my behavior that started to seem normal to me. Things like jamming 2 or 3 empty wine bottles in my tote bag and discarding them in the public garbage can on the way to work in the morning, so no one at home would see the evidence of my drinking the night before in the recycle bin. But the jig was up. I was now clearly and officially affecting the life of someone I cared about most in the world. Someone who stood in that doorway looking at me with more love and compassion in his eyes than I could muster for myself. So how did I get so off course? I certainly didn't feel good. And I wasn't allowing myself to feel joy most of the time. I decided to do a little bit of research into addiction, and among many other things, I learned that drug and alcohol use affects the prefrontal cortex of the brain, the decision-making and rationalizing part of the brain. And I thought, wow, it's no wonder I am so confused all the time and feel like I'm unable to keep order in my life for all those years. Then I was hit by something profound. What if I have the answers to all of my questions? I just am not looking in the right place. I wasn't listening to my inner voice, the voice that told me to stop drinking, even when I heard it clearly over and over and over again. I asked myself another question: where else am I not listening? And I was immediately hit by the answer. I'd been holding myself in a dark space ever since I was diagnosed at 20 years old with polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was operating in the vague information that I was given by my doctors then that there is no cure for PCOS and that if I ever wanted to conceive, I would likely have to go down the route of in vitro fertilization, surgery, pharmaceuticals, or some kind of combination of the three. By the way, polycystic ovarian syndrome is the #1 hormonal disorder among women that you've never heard of. It affects 1 in 10 of us. And it comes with a laundry list of symptoms, things like obesity, severe weight gain, terrible acne, terrible mood swings, and anovulation, which means I wasn't ovulating, which leads to infertility. I was told the odds of me conceiving naturally were slim to none, which honestly was okay with me at the time. I was 20 years old. I wanted to party. I was sowing my wild oats. But I did bury the idea deep inside, just in case I would need it in the years to come. What I did instead was I took my diagnosis as a life sentence. And I blundered forward through my 20s, through my 30s, through a haze of alcohol and drug use and negative self-talk. And I embraced self-hatred as a motivational tool. Many of us use the same tactic to push forward in life, don't we? But if instead we learn to lean in toward our inner voice and we learn how to hear it, many times it doesn't sound like a voice at all, but it's a feeling. I was operating in the feeling of, why am I so broken? I am broken, so why bother? It was a depression. It was a dark cloud, all of that. It wasn't until I started asking myself the questions, the right questions, and taking steps towards healing that I was able to tune in and hear what the voice was saying. It was saying, wake up, Gayle, stop drinking. You're only using it to mask what you're afraid to look at. And by the way, once you do look at it, it's not as scary as you're making it out to be. But I felt out of control. Could I actually stop drinking? Somehow, deep down, I knew that if I did, I would be able to regain control of my life and maybe even cure my PCOS. So there I was. I had finally reached a point where I had it. Enough excuses. I started listening to my inner voice with acute curiosity. And in doing so, I transformed. I changed my diet, my job, my attitude. I found a healer, I found a coach, and my body's reaction felt like nothing short of a miracle. For the first time in my life, I was able to normalize my body's natural rhythms. I am now nearly 4 years sober, still happily married. And in 2019, I was able to naturally conceive and give birth to the beautiful baby boy I am delighted to call my son. I have learned that when we suppress the urge to follow our heart, we build walls around it so nothing can get in, like that whisper of intuition, and nothing can get out, like a cry for help. If I hadn't started listening to that voice, I literally wouldn't be standing here right now, inspired by that fateful day. My husband's words cut through space and time and hit me right in the heart and woke me up. My journey has become my life's work. I'm now a high-performance intuitive life coach, and I teach my clients techniques on how to interrupt their trained thinking patterns in order to hear their own inner voice. And if we all start tuning into that tiny voice and follow the thread that we hear and we feel, we just may create a society that can heal itself. And that is worth listening to.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Big Talk Academy's virtual showcase supporting these incredible speakers. If you have the desire to speak on my virtual stage, go to thebigtalkacademy.com for more information. This is a 12-week certification speaker training program that is going to give you everything that you need to have the global impact you desire. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you get access to all of our latest episodes. I love having you here, and I always respond to the comments. Big love.